Hello, ladies and gentlemen. As you are preparing for your combined science exam in November 2024, it is essential to focus on the most critical topics and questions that frequently appear in combined science paper 1. In this video, we will dive into biology questions that you need to know in order to excel in the exam. We are going to cover cells, ecosystems, the food webs and the food chains, nitrogen and carbon cycle. We are going to cover also the key concepts and terminology that you need to understand, tips and strategies for answering the multiple choice questions, and practice questions and worked example to help you reinforce your understanding. By the end of this video, you'll be well equipped to tackle the biology questions in combined science paper 1 with confidence. So let's get started and make sure you are fully prepared for your exam. So on number 1, you need to expect to be examined about cells. You need to know how to label plant and animal cells and also to state the functions of the organelles that are going to be found in plant and animal cells. So the first question that we are going to revise today is reading. The diagram shows a plant cell. Which part is the vacuole? So D is the vacuole. Vacuole is the largest compartment in plant cells, often occupying more than 80% of the total volume. And then number 2, palisade cell contain dash in order to enable photosynthesis. So the correct answer is chlorophyll. The cell shape is going to be found in the vacuole. Cellulose is the carbohydrates that is used in manufacturing of the cell walls. So the correct answer is going to be C on the second question. Let us proceed to June 2023. Number 1 was saying which part of the cell is found in both plant and animal cells. So the correct answer is A, which is cell membrane. B, C, and D are found in plant cells only. So this question requires you to understand the differences between plant and animal cells. Let us proceed to a question that was in June 2024, number 1. It was on palisade cell. The question is reading, diagram shows a palisade cell. The function of part X is dash. So the correct answer is to trap sunlight. Correct answer is going to be A. So they can ask you a question on structure of a leaf. Example, in November 2019, number 1. The question was saying the diagram shows internal structure of a leaf. In which tissue, A, B, C, or D, does most photosynthesis occur? So photosynthesis occurs in the palisade cell, which is B. It is very important to also be able to label that A is the upper epidermis, C is the sponge mesophile, and D is the guard cell. Number 1 also requires you to be able to state the functions of organelles. For example, in November 2022, the first question was on plant cells. It was saying which part control the activities of the cell. So you need to know that nucleus is the one that control the activities of the cell. So nucleus is B, A is cellulose cell wall, C is the chloroplast, and D is the vacuole. Another question was also saying plant cell, in which part A, B, C, or D is most energy produced. So the correct answer is C. C is known as the mitochondria. Mitochondria are the one that sausage shaped. And then we are done with the cells. I hope you now have an idea on how the topic on cells is examined in Combined Science Paper 1. We need now to move on how ecosystem questions are examined in Combined Science Paper 1. You need to know about the physical and biological components of ecosystem, and also understand about food chains and food webs. First, we are going to move on to June 2020. The question is reading, which one is a physical component of an ecosystem? So the correct answer is going to be A. Fungi, humus, bacteria are biological components of an ecosystem. In November 2020, they twisted the question. They were no longer asking about physical components, but they asked about biological components of an ecosystem. So the correct answer here, it is humus. A, soil and water are physical components of an ecosystem. So the next question is saying, what is an ecosystem? So an ecosystem is the interdependence of living organisms and their environment. So it means that the correct answer is going to be D. So you need to be able to define what is an ecosystem. And then the next question, it is saying which one is a physical component of an ecosystem. So the correct answer is water. Bacteria, nematodes, and termites are biological components of an ecosystem. So you can be asked a question on food chains and food webs. For example, in June 2024, the second question was on food web. It was saying, which organism is a secondary consumer? So first, let us label. Grass is known as producer. So it means that A is disqualified. We are going to cancel it out. And then rabbit, goat, and insects primary consumers. It means that B and D are disqualified. So the correct answer is going to be C, which is the frog. This is a strategy that you need to apply when answering multiple choice questions, right? And then let us proceed to June 2023. Number 4, it was saying, in an ecosystem, a zebra feeds on grass, a lion feeds on zebra, and a vulture feeds on lion. So the question is then saying, which one is the secondary consumer? So grass is the producer. It is going to be disqualified. Zebra, it is a primary consumer since it is the one that feed on grass, right? So the correct answer is going to be C, which is the lion. Lion is the secondary consumer and the vulture is the tertiary consumer. On food web, you can be examined a question on highest and least amount of energy. Let's focus on this question. It is saying which organism has the highest amount of energy. So cabbage is going to have the highest amount of energy because the producers obtain their energy from the sun, which is the most readily available resource and hence most abundant at that level. That was also a first question in November 2018. We were having a diagram that is showing the flow of energy through an ecosystem. Which level has the highest amount of energy? So the correct answer is A, which is the producers. So they may twist the question to ask you which level is the least amount of energy. You need to be prepared to answer such a question. Now we want to move on to carbon and nitrogen cycle. We are going to focus on nitrogen cycle first. You need to be able to label the nitrogen cycle diagram. In November 2023, there was a question on nitrogen cycle. It was saying which arrow, A, B, C, or D, represents the first step in nitrification. Let us label. A is denitrification. That is the conversion of nitrates to nitrogen in the atmosphere. And then B, first there is going to be nitrogen fixation and then ammonification, whereby we are going to have the conversion of nitrogen to ammonium compounds. And then C is denitrification, and also nitrites to nitrates is nitrification. Let me repeat again. C is nitrification, and also nitrates to nitrates, it is nitrification. So the correct answer is going to be C. Also in November 2020, the second question was on nitrogen cycle. The question is reading, diagram shows some stages in nitrogen cycle. Which arrow, A, B, C, or D, represents the action of decomposers? So the correct answer is going to be B, which is ammonification. Ammonification is the process of converting organic nitrogen compounds such as proteins into ammonia through the action of decomposers such as fungi and bacteria. And then number 15 in November 2000, it was say identify the physical component of ecosystem. It is soils, the rest are biological components of an ecosystem. Number 16, it was saying which labeled arrow shows denitrification. Correct answer is C. A and B, they are nitrification. Then D is nitrogen fixation. Let us now focus on carbon cycle. It is examined in Combined Science Paper 1. Let us look at this question that was in number 12 in November 2019. There was a question on carbon cycle. Question is reading, which process A, B, C, or D causes global warming? The correct answer is A. Conversion of fuels to carbon dioxide is combustion, and combustion of fuel, it is going to result in global warming. And then let us label B, C, and D. B is known as fossilization, C is the feeding, and D is the process of respiration. Last question on our tutorial today is on carbon cycle, saying which arrow A, B, C, or D represent photosynthesis. So the correct answer is A. Photosynthesis is the process whereby green plants, they are going to use carbon dioxide and water in order to produce glucose and oxygen. So this marks the end of our tutorial today on frequently examined questions on cells, ecosystems, nitrogen, and carbon cycle. Thank you so much, guys, for following me on this channel. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share my videos. I love you all. This is Eve signing out.